They've long been seen as the symbol of lasting royal love. They live in a palace valued at over $620 million and manage the Duchy of Cornwall, an estate worth more than $1 billion stretching across 140,000 acres, including the historic cricket ground, the Oval, and ancient fortresses tied to the legends of King Arthur. Their wedding car, a vintage Aston Martin once owned by King Charles. But behind the elegance, there are cracks not so easily seen. A sunbathing photo taken without consent that sparked outrage across Britain, a family portrait that drew public scrutiny over digital edits. And finally, Kate's quiet, devastating announcement of her cancer diagnosis that left the world in stunned silence. William and Kate were once seen as the perfect couple. And maybe that's exactly why they had to learn how to live authentically within a monarchy that demands perfection at all times. How do two people who wear crowns and carry private wounds manage to hold together both a kingdom and a family? Today, we'll take a closer look at the quiet truths William, Kate, and the royal family have carried for years, the stories behind the cameras, the moments rarely seen, the resilience that kept them standing. If you enjoy stories like this, please remember to hit the like button. It truly helps us, and share your thoughts in the comments below. They've become the image of the modern royal couple, graceful, composed, always walking hand in hand beneath the spotlight. William and Kate made the world believe in perfection. But what has truly kept that image from falling apart for over 2 decades? There's something no one has ever really seen. At a royal ceremony, beneath thousands of camera flashes, William and Kate step forward in elegant formal wear. Their smiles convince the world they're witnessing a real-life fairy tale. Ever since their wedding, watched by more than 2 billion people, their image has been synonymous with one word: perfect. Kate, fashion icon, the woman whose every outfit sells out instantly. William, the prince of a new generation, measured, steady, always appearing at the right time, in the right way. Together, they've come to represent a hopeful future for the British monarchy. But behind that graceful harmony, what really lies beneath? William was once the 15-year-old boy who had to bow his head before his mother's coffin, while millions watched through tears. Kate grew up among England's quiet countryside, where family dinners were the most treasured part of the day. Two people from 2 very different worlds, one born into a crown, the other into peace. William walked behind that coffin under the gaze of the entire world, but that wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part came afterward, when he had to smile for the cameras. There was no time to grieve. No one taught him how to be a man, only how to be a prince. From that moment, the image became a burden he's carried ever since. That's why, when he met Kate, a woman who never chased the spotlight, who listened without demanding, William felt like he could finally breathe. And maybe that's the real secret behind the perfection, not the crown, but the freedom to be yourself when you're together. So, what truly binds them? The answer isn't just love. It's the ability to face challenges together that no one else can truly understand. Their perfection doesn't come from status, but from quiet resilience. They never show the cracks, but if you look closely, you'll see there were moments when they had to summon all their strength just to hold it together. Is their perfection truly flawless, or are their truths still waiting to be uncovered? This journey didn't begin with a crown. It began with a quiet romance between 2 people, one who had lost everything, and one who had to learn to live in a world that never really felt like her own. And this is just the beginning. Join us now as we explore the love, the monarchy, and the strength behind William and Kate. To the world, they were the definition of royal love, graceful, unwavering, and picture perfect. But there was a silence few ever noticed when William let go, and Kate quietly disappeared from the spotlight. They were once seen as the flawless symbol of royal romance, college sweethearts whose love grew from simple beginnings and who walked down the aisle together before billions of people. But long before the crowns and the legendary sapphire ring, there was a quiet pause, a distance deep enough to almost end it all. It began in St. Andrews, a quiet coastal town in Scotland where William hoped to find a sense of normalcy in a world that offered little of it. That's where he met Kate, a girl from Bucklebury, with no title, no pretense. She made him laugh, and when she walked the runway at a student charity show in a sheer dress, even William's friends were stunned. But for William, it was something else he saw life: simplicity and honesty. Their relationship blossomed away from the cameras, shared breakfasts in a student kitchen, studying in old libraries, sitting through gray, rainy afternoons, just listening to music. There were no crowns, no guards, only calm. But that calm didn't last long. As soon as the media began naming Kate Middleton, as paparazzi snapped photos of her in grocery stores, the reality of royal life began to creep in. She stopped being just Kate and became the prince's girlfriend. And, for William, love now came with a question etched into royal tradition. Is she strong enough to become a princess? In 2010, William proposed to Kate in Kenya, using the iconic sapphire ring once worn by Princess Diana. It was a promise not only of love, but of legacy, duty, and everything that came with it. Their 2011 wedding became one of the most watched events in television history. Kate wore an Alexander McQueen gown valued at over $400,000, walking beside the man who would one day be king. With 2,000 guests and tens of millions watching live, it was a spectacle of royal grandeur. Yet one moment stood out: William driving the two of them away in his Aston Martin, a touch of youth and simplicity that made the whole world believe nothing could break them. But the fairy tale had a crack. In 2007, they broke up. No public statement, no reason given. Kate disappeared from headlines, while William was spotted partying in London, surrounded by friends and unfamiliar faces. The media frenzy exploded. Tabloids mocked Kate, calling her Waity Katie, painting her as someone clinging on with desperate hope. Did Kate ever consider walking away for good? And what made William step back? Was it doubt, or fear of what love in the spotlight might cost? Kate stayed silent. She stepped back, traveled, took photography classes, and gave William the space he needed. No interviews, no headlines, just an absence that made Britain start asking questions. What happened in that quiet distance, and why? After all of it, did they find their way back? William was the one to reach out. They reconciled quietly, with no announcement, no grand gesture, just two people who had endured something few others could understand, choosing to hold hands again, stronger than before. Is their love strong enough for what lies ahead when what awaits isn't just media pressure, but the weight of a nation? Because ahead of them lies more than love. There is power, there is wealth, and beneath it all, a current of challenges still waiting to rise. They own a kingdom, from castles to bulletproof cars. But when scandal and illness struck, what truly kept them standing? It wasn't image, it wasn't titles, it was power, real power. William and Kate now oversee the Duchy of Cornwall, a royal estate worth over $1 billion, encompassing more than 140,000 acres, stretching from the Isles of Scilly to the Oval Cricket Ground. More than just heritage, it provides an income of up to $30 million a year, enough to support a modern royal household without relying on taxpayers. This duchy isn't just a financial foundation, it's a platform for them to rewrite the royal narrative: young, independent, and sustainable. For William and Kate, a home is never just a residence. Every property they've lived in marks a chapter, a reflection of a moment, a decision, a way of loving. And behind closed doors, it's where they peel back the layers of protocol and simply live as themselves. In the heart of London, Kensington Palace isn't just their home, it's the gateway to a world of duty and tradition. It's where William grew up in the shadow of his mother, Princess Diana. Today, it serves as their official residence, where they receive international guests, coordinate charitable programs, and uphold the image of the royal family. Apartment 1A, where they reside, is part of a 17th century palace with an estimated market value of $620 million. Despite its 20-plus rooms, The interior feels like a family home. Kate handpicked the wallpaper for the children's playroom. Framed family photos line the halls. The living room isn't a display of monarchy, it's where George reads books and Louis scatters toys across the floor. A space once steeped in royal memory now balances duty with quiet comfort. In rural Norfolk, nestled among barley fields and wide skies, Anmer Hall is where they truly became a family. A 19th century red brick estate gifted by Queen Elizabeth as a wedding present. It has no gold gates or marble pillars, just windows opening onto orchards. Valued at around $30 million, it's where Kate grows lavender. William fixes the stables, and the kids run barefoot without stairs. They shop for groceries, cook their own meals, and play board games by the fire on weekends. Here, the titles fade away. They're simply Mom and Dad in a warm countryside home. No one lives at Tintagel, yet it still belongs to them, not as owners, but as guardians of legend, perched on the cliffs of Cornwall. It's believed to be the birthplace of King Arthur. Now part of the Duchy of Cornwall, it's under William's care. On one visit, he walked hand in hand with George across the suspended bridge between the rocky peaks, telling him stories of Excalibur not as a history lesson, but to teach values, honor, courage, and a duty to something greater than oneself. There are no beds in Tintagel, but William has left part of his spirit there. Tucked within the Windsor Home Park woodlands, Adelaide Cottage isn't a palace, it's a sanctuary. With just 4 bedrooms, whitewashed walls, a tiled roof, and a vine-covered balcony. It's where they relocated after years of intense public life. The children needed schools nearby. Kate needed a space quiet enough to hear herself breathe. Modest in size and appearance, yet due to its location and heritage, it's valued at approximately $1.3 million. It's also where Kate returned during her cancer treatment. Her bedroom is small, but sunlight filters in each morning. The backyard is compact, but just big enough for her to grow her favorite daisies. In the afternoons, William reads to George on a wooden bench while Charlotte and Louis play under the apple tree with their mother. No ceremonies, no cameras, just a family learning how to live simply in a world that isn't. To most, these are just properties, but to William and Kate, they are memories filled with children's laughter, moments of fear, quiet strength, and a kind of love sturdy enough to hold a kingdom steady through the storm. In royal life, cars are never just transportation. For William and Kate, each vehicle holds meaning. Some ensure absolute security, others carry family legacy, and some reflect personal identity. Often, the real value isn't in the engine, but in the stories that rode alongside. Bentley State Limousine. For major state events, William and Kate often travel behind 10cm of bulletproof glass in a custom-made Bentley. Only 2 exist in the world, both specially crafted for the British royal family. Longer than the commercial version, armored with tons of protection, and lined with Connolly leather and handcrafted walnut trim, this vehicle is estimated at over $10 million, but its worth isn't measured in price. For William and Kate, elegance lies not in the steel, but in how they exit the car hand in hand, modest and unassuming. A quiet reminder that even royalty can be humble. Aston Martin DB6 Volante. This silver convertible, once owned by King Charles III, was passed down to William as a deeply personal wedding gift. Built in 1969 with original dark brown leather interiors, its current market value ranges from $350,000 to $500,000, but to them it's priceless. On their wedding day, William drove Kate away from the ceremony himself. No motorcade, no escort, just the 2 of them, surrounded by cheers. That car didn't just carry them, it carried the moment between tradition and freedom, between royalty and real love. Audi R8 V10, a sleek German supercar, low-slung with a V10 engine and matte gray finish, valued at $130,000 to $150,000. It's not extravagant by royal standards, but a revealing choice for a man born into monarchy. This Audi is often seen when William visits military bases or simply drives through the countryside alone. It doesn't appear in official photos. It's his private escape, where he can take off the crown for a few hours and just be himself. Ducati Alvone 99 Superleggera, one of only 500 in the world. This limited edition Ducati features a lightweight frame, aerodynamic design, and a signature engine roar. Valued at around $80,000, this bike reflects another side of William I the public rarely sees. Before his first child was born, he used to ride alone through the hills of Berkshire. No bodyguards, no convoy, not rebellion, but a quiet moment of freedom, when liberty was no longer a given, but a gift. Amid ancient palaces and relentless scrutiny, William and Kate haven't just preserved a beautiful image, they've preserved each other. Their marriage isn't loud, it isn't perfect, but it holds something stronger than ceremony, a daily choice. They don't flaunt affection, but they're always in step. A subtle touch during a public event, a quiet glance while waiting for the car. These are the small things that keep people together. In everyday life, they live with intention and grace. Dinners with their children are screen-free and on time. They cook on weekends. They handwrite thank you cards after each event. Their children learn to greet every staff member by name, say thank you, and wrap birthday gifts for friends themselves without help from aides. They don't live to prove they're relatable. They live so that every gesture holds meaning and passes something on to the next generation. And maybe that's why they're not just a royal couple. They are a symbol of endurance in a world that breaks too easily. They were once seen as the perfect royal couple, elegant, private, free of scandal. But from a leaked photo during a private moment to a quiet confession about cancer, what truly happened behind Kate Middleton's composed smile? For over a decade, William and Kate have stood as the face of stability, graceful, principled, and measured. But behind that image were moments they couldn't control, and a quiet exhaustion no one dared name. In 2012, during a vacation in the south of France, Kate was secretly photographed while sunbathing. Those private images were published by tabloids around the world. William took immediate legal action and won the case, but the damage had been done. Kate never spoke publicly. She simply reappeared quieter, more guarded, as if putting one more layer between herself and the world. Years later, in 2019, a rumor surfaced linking William to a longtime family friend. No evidence, no formal response, but also no denial. William and Kate continued to appear together, hand in hand, unchanged. And perhaps it was that quiet consistency that spoke louder than any explanation. After all, things worth believing don't always need defending. Then came 2024, a moment that seemed small but became a turning point. A photo of Kate and her 3 children, released on Mother's Day, was flagged by major outlets like AP and Reuters for being digitally altered. For the first time, Kate spoke out. She admitted she had edited the photo herself. A few days later, she appeared in a short video, pale, soft-spoken, but clear-eyed. She revealed she was undergoing cancer treatment, discovered after abdominal surgery earlier that year. No one talked about the photo again. There was only silence and a wave of quiet prayers for a woman known for her strength, now needing space to be vulnerable. Since then, Kate has withdrawn from all public appearances. She and William have retreated to Adelaide Cottage, a small home tucked inside Windsor, without royal gates or televised entrances. There, she reads with the children, tends the garden, and heals day by day. William has said nothing. He simply remains beside her, as he always has. Maybe they're not as perfect as the world once believed, but the way they face their cracks in silence, with strength, and without walking away, might just be more admirable than any fairy tale ever told. They began with a college romance, walked through the spotlight of a wedding watched by the entire world, and grew up beneath hundreds of royal ceremonies, millions of watchful eyes, and the kinds of challenges most people never even name out loud. And now, as William quietly approaches the throne, and Kate continues to recover from the most difficult chapter of her life, no one's talking much about the wedding dress, the castles, or the bulletproof Bentley. What remains is something else entirely, a legacy of steadiness, kindness, and the grace of holding on to life's simplest things in a world that never stops shifting. William is no fairy tale prince. Kate is no longer the girl waiting in the background. They are parents, partners, carriers of a nation's symbol, yet still learning how to live as ordinary people once the palace doors close. The path they're shaping for the monarchy carries a different tone. William's Earthshot Prize focuses on global environmental solutions. Kate's Shaping Us campaign centers on children's mental health and their personal style. Still understated, still respectful, but enough to quietly remind the world, elegance doesn't need to be declared. It only needs to be lived, consistently. They no longer live to be admired. They live to protect values worth passing on, like a bridge between tradition and progress, between royalty and the hearts of everyday people. No one knows what the future holds if William becomes king, but if that day comes, perhaps the first image won't be of a throne, but of a family of 4, walking hand in hand through the Windsor Gardens, moving slowly, as if there's nothing left to prove. Because sometimes, private peace is what makes a royal legacy truly loved. And what about you? Have you ever witnessed a love or a family that weathered so many storms and still held on to gentleness? If so, share the story you remember most in the comments below. And if William and Kate represent the monarchy of the future, what are you hoping to see from them? Thank you for being part of this journey, not of a perfect couple, but of 2 people living truthfully in a world full of expectations.